After drawing so many Dandy's World toons as human, I thought, hey, what about Dandy's World OCs? And turns out you broskies have lots of them. So today I'll be picking out and drawing some Dandy's World OCs from my Discord server as humans. First OC is submitted by Nevu. Meet Claudia the Rainbow, a bright and colorful toon that makes it her mission to bring positivity to every toon in Garden View. She appears as a rainbow girl with very fluffy, colorful hair, being blue in the center, complemented by long rainbow pigtails, which, looking at it now, does literally look like rainbows coming out of her head rather than hair. She also wears a rainbow dress with a cloud-like chest piece and blue gloves, as well as some very cute socks. I love this design so much. Her stats are above average with 4-star movement and 4-star extraction, but low stamina and stealth. Her ability also allows her to get rid of every debuff on any toon around her, and protects them from any negative effects for 10 seconds. So basically, she's a positivity beam. Taste the rainbow! This toon's personality can be described as kind and sympathetic. However, despite her colorful and cheerful looking appearance, Claudia suffers from many insecurities, often forcing herself to put on a personality that pleases everyone around her, always acting overly positive, affectionate, and lovable. Claudia felt as though she had to be perfect for everyone around her, or else she would fail them. Eventually, Claudia became completely different, isolating herself from the other toons, completely avoiding everyone around her. With this, she developed many insecurities. Twisted Claudia now appears as a dull and dreadful version of her former self, with her rainbows no longer being so bright, as if the light has been completely sucked out of her. With red eyes, she cries tears of ichor as it covers many parts of her. Her socks are also now ripped. Judging by everything we know so far, Claudia becoming twisted was likely caused by her endless insecurities, fearing that she had failed everyone around her after she collapsed under the pressure. This twisted roams the map, with her tears of ichor constantly being trailed all over the floor. If a toon steps in her tears, Claudia suddenly teleports to the toon, hitting them and taking a heart. Her speed is unknown, but speed doesn't matter when you can teleport, so I would definitely avoid those tears. Thank you, Nevu, so much for submitting your OC, because this has got to be one of my favorite toon designs I've seen. As someone who loves rainbows, I'm totally not biased. They also mention many of the colors in Claudia's rainbows are directly related to the debuffs in Dandy's World, like green for tiredness and purple for confusion, which is super creative. When drawing Claudia, I wanted to make sure I represented her character perfectly. So while I did make her wearing a smile to please everyone, you can still sense some uneasiness, like the sweat dripping down her face and the slight raise in her eyebrows, showing that she's barely hanging on, but she wants to be positive for her friends. Her design is already so perfect, so I really just added a few elements like some cloud hair clips, and I also added a fluffy cloud design on the rims of her gloves. I also put a cute corset design on her chest piece. Finally, I decided to give her vitiligo, which I think makes it look like she has clouds on her skin, and I just think it's so pretty. Here is human Claudia. By the way, guys, I do want to say that I am sick right now, so I'm sorry if I sound different. Alright, so the next toon on this list is Cecilia the Clock, submitted by Shadow Milk. This toon appears as a blue-colored, old-fashioned style clock with cute little stars tied around the 2 bells on her head. She wears a big blue bow tie and a very long suit jacket, topped off with striped pants, and a very cool cord tail. She also has great stats, specializing in being fast and having great stamina, while extraction may be a bit of a challenge. She's also a main toon, having 2 hearts instead of 3. But my absolute favorite thing about Cecilia is definitely her ability, because she can bring toons back from the dead 2 times in a run. Now that's awesome. And her second ability highlights Twisteds each time a machine is completed. If this toon actually came out, I would rush to the shop to get them. The creator also gave us a clipboard of information about this toon. Cecilia the Clock is known as a morning toon, always up and early and ready for the day. When nap time is over, she goes to Astro's room to wake up the children in Garden View. She's very extroverted and full of energy, with making others happy being her top priority. However, some other toons find Cecilia annoying and think she's too loud. They also say whenever she's left alone away from the other toons, she often thinks bad things about herself, so it's clear she has some insecurities about how the other toons view her. Twisted Cecilia appears with the entire left side of her face completely covered in ichor, and the stars tied around her bells are longer in a very different shape, along with her tail being much bigger. Her left arm and both legs are now completely black. As her Twisted research says, be as quiet and quick as you can, as this Twisted is very fast and can alarm other Twisteds to your area if she sees you. I would imagine in-game the sound that she uses to alarm Twisteds would be a loud ringing bell sound, since she is a clock, and since she's a main, her Twisted roaming sound would probably be similar to Dial's. We also got some cute extra artworks, like this cool poster they made to go along with the other mains. Overall, I love her concept and I think Cecilia is so cool. And again, I love the detail that the other toons find her annoying because she's an alarm clock, and I'd imagine she would be one of the mains that kids like the least because they wouldn't want to wake up. But I can tell you right now, if she was in the game, she would definitely be one of my favorite toons. For her human form, I gave her these super cute buns in the shape of stars, but still made sure they look like like bells poking out of her head, just like a clock. There's little braids with star beads coming out of her hair buns, and I also included a clock monocle on her eye to replace the arrows that were on her face before. I think it looks really cool. For her outfit, I added some fun little details, like her buttons being star-shaped. Here is human Cecilia. Up next is Scribble the Sock Craft, submitted by Angel QEX. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. This toon appears with white fluffy hair and a beret hat on the top. In the middle of his head is stitches, resembling the fact that he's a sock puppet. He wears a striped black and white shirt, paired with a gray bandana around his neck and black overalls. And on both of his arms are his sock puppet friends. This toon also appears to be a main, having just 2 hearts, and with stats that are above average, with 4-star movement speed and stamina, but very bad extraction. His first ability allows him to throw a sock puppet to distract Twisteds for 2 seconds. But what makes this ability extra cool is the puppet literally runs away and leads the Twisteds to a different area, which is even more effective than Block's decoy. His second ability increases movement speed when being chased by Twisteds and can even stack depending on how many are chasing you. This would be great for distracting. Unfortunately, the exact percentage is cut off in this image, but it's still a great ability. Twisted Scribble has a super cool and creepy twisted design. His head seems to be split open down the middle, with what appears to be loose threads on his right eye, which is completely hollow inside. His arms are also black, with a giant slit down each arm revealing a row of giant fangs. The torso is separated from the legs, connected by a long spine. The ribbon is also now sentient, and looks like it wants to eat someone. Just like Scraps and Goob, this Twisted is long-ranged, and if you're spotted, you'll be grabbed by his tail. The creator also describes his roaming sound effect to be clattering and snakes hissing. Some extras are things like his trinket, which is this really cool owl mask, and apparently they also show us another character named Claudia that they ship with Scribble, which is really wholesome. I was really drawn to this toon because of how cool their design and concept is. For his human form, I give Scribble some fluffy white hair, since it does look very soft in the original. Since he is a sock puppet, I also decided to add a cotton-like texture to his hair, since many socks are made of cotton material. I replaced the stitch lining of the sock with his skin being stitched up instead, which is practically the same thing, but hey, it looks cool. His sock puppet friends are now also stitched directly to his sleeves, since I feel like he wouldn't want to take them off. Lastly, I wasn't entirely sure what was going on with his right eye, but I'm assuming that the eye is just closed, so I made it like that on mine as well. Here is human Scribble. Last but not least, our final Dandy's World toon is Suds the Soap Bubble, submitted by Nugget. As you may have already guessed, Suds is Poppy's younger brother, being 10 years old, around the same age as Toodles. He appears as a soap bubble with medium-length bubble hair and a bright red baseball cap. He's also wearing a red and white baseball jersey with the numbers 04, paired with red sneakers. Suds is very energetic and loves playing with friends. He's also a very active toon, particularly loving sports, especially baseball. He even has his own baseball team called Crazy Bulls, and has recruited other toons to be members, like Shrimpo, Finn, Toodles, Sprout, Flutter, Connie, Dandy, and Astro. As for his stats, they're pretty good with awesome skill check and speed, and his active ability allows him to boost the skill check of a selected toon, so he's a great supporter. His twisted counterpart is uncommon, appearing completely ichor stained with a crazy expression. The top part of his hat is now ripped off, with ichor inside as well as on his clothes. Twisted Suds is really special though, as when he's on your floor, he applies a slippery effect on the entire map, making toons slip and slide everywhere, and overall just making it much harder to move around. Imagine a Twisted sees you, and when you try to turn away, you accidentally slide into them and get hit. In my opinion, Suds would be the worst uncommon you could possibly get on your floor. Considering how dangerous this ability is, I think it would make more sense for him to be rare, cause this might even be worse than a blackout. Luckily, he's on the slower side, so encountering him directly wouldn't be too much of a problem. The creator of Suds also gave us a bunch of cool artworks and extras, like this cool baseball poster, and they even made some outfits, which are really neat. There's also funny dialogue with Shrimpo and other toons like Shelly and Astro. In their dialogue, Astro does show concern about one of Suds' dreams, which he quickly brushes off, implying Suds may have some dark secrets. They also mention Suds does have a lot of stress about leading his baseball team, but keeps on a smile for his friends. I gotta say, I love Suds so much, and I could totally see him being in the game as Poppy's little brother. Even though he's not, he kind of feels canon. When drawing Suds as a human, I wanted him to look really confident like his original artwork, and honestly, the way I drew him really reminds me of Kel from Amori. Because he's so active, I put bandages and rough spots to show he's a little reckless while playing sports. I love how oversized his shirt is, so in my drawing, I drew his baseball jersey really baggy and loose, which I think suits him really well. I also like to think that one of the reasons he has a missing tooth is because he got hit with a baseball. That's my headcanon. And in the back of his baseball cap, a little ponytail is sticking out. He's wearing some baseball shorts that have wear and tear from playing outside so much, and of course, he's holding a baseball bat. Here is human Suds. Thanks broskies so much for watching. I gotta say, so many OCs were submitted in my Discord server and it was really hard to choose. But don't worry because I definitely want to make a part 2. Sorry that I sound sick in this video, it's because I am. But hopefully in the next video my voice will be normal. Comment which OC was your favorite and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye!